So good afternoon and welcome to the Health and Government Operations Committee. Today is Wednesday, March 22nd, and we're starting our hearings. All bills are sponsor only unless noted, which means that these bills have a cross. So I want to welcome you and thank you for your patience. I also like to take a minute to welcome my wonderful, my sister, my role model, former, the Chair Emeritus delegate, Shane Pendergrass, who this was her committee, and everything I learned, good or bad, you can blame it on her, okay? So why don't you want to say a few words, Shane? Go ahead.
I'd love to. It's wonderful. Yeah, I wondered why you weren't looking this way. I was really feeling hurt. In other words, doing something else while we were doing this, right? It's wonderful to be here. I'm thrilled to be retired. It really agrees with me. You know when it's time, and it was time. The last couple years, this team got me through a really hard job. We got through the pandemic as a team, and you all lifted me up to get me through, and we did great work. And I left this knowing how wonderful you all are, and I miss every one of you, absolutely every one of you, because you are my friends. And this place, we're always told us about relationships, and it took me about, 20 years to figure that out. But eventually I got it. Maybe you'll learn faster, but it is. This is good people. And my sister here, I don't know what I would have done without her, and my subcommittee chairs. And it's really nice to be back with you today. And I'll see you at the Speaker Society dinner, even though I'll be wearing my mask, because I'm still me, and that doesn't change. But thank you. Thank you for the love and kindness that you gave me over all the years. And I really do miss every one of you. So carry on in the tradition that we always worked. And I'm very proud of you. It's a great comfort to know what I've left behind, that you all will do a good job, that I have no doubt. And I'm sure Pete Hammond would love for me to tell you that he thinks the world of you guys too. I'd hoped he might come by today, but he couldn't. He's busy. Yes, he's a presence down here. Yes, exactly. But this is a very special committee. There's nothing like this committee. It is a joy to work with you. It was a joy, and Jocelyn is just the best, and I'm really happy.
Thank you. So, I want to give you your flowers while you're sitting here, that you helped all of us. You were my mentor and taught me how to run the committee, and I cannot thank you enough for doing that and for trusting us in doing the work. So thank you, Shane, for everything, okay? You are loved in this committee by the LAs, the staff, the members, okay? And for the new members, as my kids will say, she is awesome, okay? So thank you and welcome. So good afternoon, and thank you for your patience. We are humans, and we express our love, and Shane is very loved in this committee. So welcome to bill hearings for the House Health and Government Operations Committee. I'm your chairman, Jocelyn Pena-Melnick, joined by my vice chair, Bonnie Collison, and the chair emeritus, Shane Pendergrass. This is our first session back in person since 2020, so I ask for your patience if we encounter any technical or streaming issues, which sometimes we do, so just be patient. And please set your electronic devices to vibrate and don't hold conversations in the committee. If you have to speak, please go outside. Also, as a reminder, there's no food or drink allowed in the gallery, because then our staff has to clean it, and that's not kind. That is not their job. All bills that are Senate cross files of previously heard House bills will be sponsor only. The committee will accept oral testimony on Senate bills from the bill sponsor, a sponsor's designee, or representative of the department that requested the legislation. For Senate bills that do not have a cross file, we will hear from the bill sponsor, one witness in favor of the bill and one witness opposed to the bill. The public may submit written testimony to indicate their position for the bill, and we do read it all. Please adhere, and this is your rule, Please adhere to our usual committee rules of one question and one answer, and please keep your question brief. Thank you, Chair Pendergrass. It works. Members of the public will be able to view the live stream of this hearing on the Maryland General Assembly website and YouTube. Today, we will hear the bills in the following order. First, we have House Bill, Senate Bill 131, followed by 232, followed by Senate Bill 35, followed by Senate Bill 112, then Senate Bill 842, then Senate Bill 478, Senate Bill 251, Senate Bill 386, Senate Bill 200, Senate Bill 514, Senate Bill 286, Senate Bill 910, Senate Bill 217, Senate Bill 215, Senate Bill 213, Senate Bill 375, Senate Bill 451, Senate Bill 331, and we will end with Senate Bill 332. So let's start first with anyone here for Senate Bill 131. It is the President mandated reports revisions. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to see you.
Good to see you too. For the record, my name is Jody Chulson. I'm Assistant Manager in Bill Drafting in DLS, and I testified before you on House Bill 124, and this is it's a cross-file. It's the mandated reports revision bill. My understanding is that the Senate bill is basically the same as what you passed for the House bill, except the Senate tacked on some changes for the Department of Education. But I can take any questions if you have them.
And Jody, I'm sure they won't have any for you, but let's see. Are there any questions? Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you. And there are no other witnesses, so this actually concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 131. We're going to Senate Bill 232, Senator Vital. And it's health occupations, licensed athletic trainers, dry needling approval. This is the little bill that could, right, Senator Vital?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the committee. For the record, Pam Vital, Anne Arundel County, District 32. So good afternoon. Thank you for your vote and support on the House Bill 172, which you know passed the House unanimously. Senate Bill 232 passed the Senate with 44 votes. And this is, as you know, an important bill for our athletic trainers, and it was really requested by our professional sports, our ball teams, football teams, as well as our colleges. So, you know, I don't think I need to go into details, although I'm happy to, but dry needling is performed where it's allowed by the state, which is 28 states, and Washington, D.C., and I'm happy to hope that Maryland is added as a 29th state. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you for your leadership, Senator Vital. Are there any questions for the senator? Seeing none, thank you for your wonderful testimony. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too, Madam Chair. Thank you.
So this actually concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 232. We're going to do Senate Bill 35, Senator Kagan, and it is actually State Finance and Procurement Grant Prompt Payment Requirement. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Great to see you. Good to see all my friends in HGO. Madam Chair, you said 35, but you described 112. So do you have a preference?
1 second. So 35,
Is
Open Meetings
transparency.
Act, State Ethics Commission, Maryland State Agency Transparency Act of 2023, and then it will follow by 112. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. For the record, colleague Cheryl Kagan, very proud to be the senator for Gaithersburg and Rockville. This is the latest Kagan-Kagan bill to increase transparency, require that all agendas and meetings and minutes all be available to the public. And we have passed a number of them. This is the last one, and it will be the State Ethics Commission. And as you know, any personnel matters would be done in closed session and would not be live streamed and would not be available to the public. The House and Senate each passed the bills unanimously. I would ask that you do the same to the Senate bill, and happy to take any questions.
Yeah. And are they identical?
They are identical.
Okay, wonderful. For those that are waiting, let us know if they're identical. Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for presenting that testimony. And this concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 35. Next, we have Senate Bill 112. Senator Kagan, State Finance and Procurement Grant Prompt Payment Requirement.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Colleagues, again, Cheryl Kagan. This is an important bill for the nonprofit sector. Last year, the General Assembly improved our procurement laws to make sure that our small businesses were paid in a way that would support them and that processes could go more quickly. Unfortunately, that did not include the nonprofit sector. This bill has been worked out with all of the parties. It has passed unanimously in the Senate and the House, thanks to Delegate Kaiser on the House side. And again, the bills are identical, and I would ask for a favorable report. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the senator on Senate Bill 112? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. I hope
Great
you
to
have a
see you.
great day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
And this
guys.
concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 112. Next, we're going to Senate Bill 842, Senator Kramer, Maryland Holocaust Remembrance Day. Welcome to our committee, Senator.
Thank you for
How are
having me
you?
in your committee, Madam Chair. Pardon me, and I have to say, when I walked in and saw Chair Pendergrass sitting up there, I began having some flashbacks,
It's hopefully great ones.
but it's all good. Thank you,
Good.
Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and the smiling faces of HGO. It's good to be here. Let me just take it in. It's been a while since I was able to come over and visit with my House colleagues, so this
You're
is a
welcome
wonderful
anytime.
thing. Thank you, and I do appreciate that. And Madam Chair, I will be exceedingly brief. Ben Kramer here to introduce Senate Bill 842, Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is the cross-file to House Bill 1244, which this committee has heard, so you don't need another word out of my mouth other than to say, Madam Chair, I know there was a small amendment to the bill, to the House bill. I am comfortable with the amendment. Thank you very much. And with that, unless there's any questions, once again, happy to see all these smiling faces.
Thank you. And thank you for accepting our amendment. We appreciate it. Are there any questions for the senator on Senate Bill 842? Seeing none, I want to tell you thank you for your leadership. We really appreciate it. And you're welcome here anytime.
And thank you for that. You might regret that statement at some point when you see me lurking about. But thank you. Good to see everybody.
You're welcome. This concludes, yes?
Question for the senator?
Yes.
After the- Senator, you used to be on the second floor. Things socially have gone downhill since you left. Will you be doing anything to invite the House members over to your Senate office so that we can?
All members of the Maryland General Assembly, because we are one,
That's right.
are welcome at any given time to come pay a visit. I am always open to my colleagues on both sides of this street. And thank you for that very important and clarifying question.
The most important question of the day. All right, this actually concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 842. Next, we have Senate Bill 478, Senator Signer, Maryland Lynching Truth and Reconciliation Commission Reporting and Sunset Extension. Senator Signer, welcome to our committee.
Madam Chair, I think this is the first time I've had an opportunity to sit in this committee with you at the helm, so it brings me great pleasure to see you sitting there.
Thank you.
For the record, I'm Senator Charles Sidnor. I bring to you a bill that should not be too difficult to pass. I mean, you already passed it and voted for it unanimously. The House version and the Senate version are the same bill with regards to the Maryland Lynching and Truth and Reconciliation Commission's extension, which is in this prior introduction was championed by your chair, and this particular bill championed by Delegate White. So I would ask that you vote favorably for this extension.
Thank you so much for your leadership, Senator Sitnor. You know, he started as a delegate, so once you're a delegate, you're always a delegate, okay? Are there any questions for Senator Sitnor? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. This actually concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 478. Next, we have Senate Bill 251, Senator Washington, who also started in the House of Delegates, State Government Commission on LGBTQIA+ Affairs Alterations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and also it's good to see you, Madam Chair. For the record, Senator Mary Washington, here to ask for your favorable report of Senate Bill 251. You've already passed this unanimously. There have been amendments, I believe, on both sides. I believe those amendments concur. But generally, this is adjusting and increasing the membership of a commission that this body passed 2 years ago. And then also, I believe, most importantly, adding the letters IA+ to be more inclusive. This bill is at the request of the commission itself. And I look forward to seeing that the bill goes into law on both sides. And again, it is really nice to see you. It's hard to follow behind Senator Feldman, but again, it is always nice to see here and see who did I say? Oh, wow, that's my chairman. Feldman's my chairman. Don't tell them I said that. Oh, it's not like that at all. Okay, any questions?
Are there any questions for Senator Washington?
And again, thank you all.
Senator Hill, Delegate Hill.
I'm sorry, so we did you amended simultaneously, so we don't have to do anything?
No, you can pass it as is, and they can head right to the governor's desk together.
Thank you, Senator Washington. Seeing no other question, this concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 251.
And I know I'll see you again soon.
Senator Washington, it's always great to see you and your beautiful
And my wife
other
is here.
half.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Nice to see you. Welcome. Thank you. This concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 251. Next, we have Senate Bill 386, which is Senator Hester. And then we're going to call Senator Ellis. I'm going to move you up, Senator Ellis.
Hello again.
Good afternoon, Senator Hester. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee, it's great to be here. Day number 2. I promise I'm not coming tomorrow. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you. Senator Katie Hester, for the record, here to ask for your consideration of Senate Bill 386, which will expand the certified local farm program to the local farm and fish program. I just have to say it because it's so much fun. Catfish are both nutritious and delicious. And in this bill, we are creating a market for them. This is identical to HB 63, which this committee voted unanimously on to support earlier this session. And for these reasons, I request a favorable report.
Thank you, Senator, for your leadership. Are there any questions for the Senator on this bill? Seeing none, thank you so much. This actually concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 386. Next, we're going to go to Senator Ellis, Senate Bill 213, Health Occupations Clinical Nurse Specialist Prescribing. And welcome to HGO, Senator. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very well. How are you and
We're
everyone
doing
on the
well.
committee?
Doing well.
Good
Thank
to
you
be
for
here.
asking.
First time here in person in several years.
I know. Welcome. It's great
Yeah,
to be
thank you.
back.
Yeah. So good afternoon, Madam Chair Pelleminick and Madam Vice Chair Collison, members of the Health and Government Operations Committee. For the record, Senator Arthur Ellis from District 28 in Charles County, here to present Senate Bill 213, Health Occupations Clinical Nurse Specialist Prescribing Authority. This bill gives clinical nurse specialists who play an important role in patient care delivery within hospitals and serve as clinical leaders focusing on improving systems and patient outcomes. These important health care providers are educators, researchers, and case managers who often lead interdisciplinary teams and support patients with families in inpatient and outpatient settings. SB 213 would authorize clinical nurse specialists to have a prescriptive authority, which is on par with other advanced practice registered nurses licensed in the state of Maryland. This legislation would also ensure the state has similar prescriptive authority as our border states, Delaware, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. They all allow CNS to have prescriptive authority. Senate Bill 213 will support our current and future healthcare workforce and potentially help recruit more clinical nurse specialists to the state of Maryland. All that being said, Madam Chair and members, ask for your favorable support on Senate Bill 213.
Is it in the same posture, Senator, as the House bill?
I'm not 100% sure on that, so I will not guess.
Okay.
I can get
It
back
is?
to you. It is?
Our council said it is.
Okay, well, it is,
Wonderful.
ma'am.
And if, okay, wonderful. So any questions for the senator on Senate Bill 213? Seeing none, thank you so much. This concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 213. Senate Bill 375 is in the same posture as the House bill? Okay, great. So that's in the same posture as well.
Thank you for that answer, Madam Chair.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Senate Bill 375, State Board of Physicians, inactive and emeritus status.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair Pellmellick and Madam Vice Chair Colson, members of the Health and Government Operations Committee of the House of Delegates. I'm Senator Arthur Ellis from District 28, Charles County. Here presenting Senate Bill 375, which creates a status for retired physicians, emeritus status. Basically, currently, if they retire and they do not continue with their education, continuing professional education, they cannot use the MD, DR, other titles. So this bill allows retired practitioners to use those titles under merit status without continuing professional education. As such, I move for a favorable vote on Senate Bill 375.
Are there any questions on Senate Bill 375? Delegate Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did this one have a cross file? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know the number for that one?
1 second.
I want to say 453, which is, yes, 453.
Yes, thank you. There are no questions, so this actually concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 375, and your final bill in this committee is Senate Bill 215, massage therapy discipline.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the Health and Government Operations Committee. For the record, Arthur Ellis, Senator representing District 28 in Charles County, here to present Senate Bill 215, massage therapy discipline. Basically, this bill tightened the rules with massage therapies, how if a practitioner is found in violation of rules by the board, they cannot hold up the board and keep practicing. The board order suspending them will remain in force throughout the appeal process. It gives the board greater control and discipline over the profession. As such, I ask for a favorable vote on Senate Bill 215, massage therapy discipline.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any questions on Senate Bill 215? Seeing none, Senator, thank you for your testimony on those three bills. We appreciate your leadership. Have a great day.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Our
Committee
pleasure.
members.
This concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 215. We're going to go now to Senator Simonaire, and we're going to call the first one, Senate Bill 286, Department of Veterans Affairs, Burial and State Veteran Cemetery, Spouses and Dependents. Welcome to the Health and Government Operations Committee. How are you?
Fine, and thank you. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get these nice and short for you.
And let us know if they're in the same posture as the House bill.
Will do. For the record, Senator Brian Simonaire on Senate Bill 286. This is an unofficial cross-file of Delegate Rogers' House Bill 480, and they are in the same posture with the amendments that both have.
Okay.
This is a consensus bill that I've worked with the advocates, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and the governor. You already heard it, so I won't take much time. We continue to try to make Maryland friendly for military and veterans. This bill works to help that, and it provides the burial costs for veteran spouses and dependents and defines these terms to align with federal regulations. And I ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you, and I understand that there will be a letter to the effect that the money will be in the supplemental budget.
That's the
Okay,
hope.
thank you. Are there any questions for the senator? Seeing none, thank you so much. This concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 286. Next, we have Senate Bill 910, Maryland Veterans Service Animal Program Definition Therapy Horse.
Thank you. And again, for the record, Senator Simonaire on Senate Bill 910. Again, this is a consensus bill. I worked with the Department of Veterans Affairs and the advocates, and you should have their support letters in here. Several years ago, we enacted legislation trying to help veterans with PTSD, and what we did is we partnered with nonprofits and those helping to train highly trained dogs, and we partnered them with veterans that had PTSD. And it was very successful, and then a year or two later, the horse industry came back and said they have therapeutic facilities that do this, and they wanted to be included. So we did pass that as well, but we limited it because we didn't have that much funding, and we told them that when we had more funding, we would open it up to all their facilities. We've gone from $50,000 a year now. For the last 2 years, we were $250,000 a year. So we have the funds. The department has come back and asked if we could expand it. So that's all this bill does, is expands it to the therapy horse facilities. And with that, I would ask for a favorable consideration.
Are there any questions for the senator on Senate Bill 910? Delegate Hill.
I'm just curious, because we followed this bill for a few years. Do you have any idea how many veterans we're treating and how many more they think we'll be able to treat with this program?
Yes, it's been very successful. For the dogs, it's about $10,000 a military person. For the therapy, it's different because they're not training dogs and giving them, so I think that's less. So you're probably ranging annually now between 35 to 50 annually.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Senator, for your testimony.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. This concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 910. Is there someone here for Senator Lamb? Will you be so kind and come up? We're going to do Senate Bill 200, Senator Lamb, Health Occupation State Board of Chiropractic Examiners, Disciplinary Actions and Procedures. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Again, my name is Scott Tiffin here on behalf of Senator Lamb. Senate Bill 200 is identical to a bill, House Bill 234, that the House has already passed unanimously. For whatever reason, the website does not list them as cross files, but they are identical to each other. It's similar to the bill you just heard about massage therapy, just updating the chiropractic statute to ensure that the Board of Chiropractic Examiners has all the tools necessary to protect public safety. They're now currently identical posture. Happy to answer any questions that folks may have.
Are there any questions on Senate Bill 200? Seeing none, thank you so much for your testimony. This concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 200. Next, we have Senate Bill 514, Local Procurements, Minority Business Enterprise Utilization Program Certification.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Again, my name is Scott Tiffin here on behalf of Senator Lamb. This bill is a fairly straightforward bill. During the interim, we had some folks who own businesses who are members of minority community reach out to Senator Lamb about difficulty they have with some procurement questions related to counties. So as folks probably know, dealing with procurement in this committee, you can be certified as an MBE through MDOT in order to be eligible to participate in the MBE program at the state level. Most counties, I don't know if I can, as I sit here, I can say all, but at least most counties have MBE programs as well and have similar target goals for their county and how many procurements they're supposed to procure using MBE program. The question some business owners had was, is it really necessary if we go through the several month-long process to be certified as an MBE at the state level, to have to then resubmit all those same materials to each county we want to do procurements with? If essentially all the counties are asking for the same information, the question is just like what that county's goals are, is how many procurements should be MBEs. And so, Senator Lamb had decided that maybe it makes sense to see if counties would be willing just to accept the state certification. Counties still could offer county certifications if someone came to that county first. But if they've already gone through a state certification, the counties would be required to accept that certification. In the Senate, they decided to add municipalities as well, because some of our municipalities do run MBE programs for their procurement. We've reached out to MACO and folks. They have no objection. They're happy to accept the state certification. It honestly would take that administrative burden off of them, and it still would allow them to set their own goals, just would take the burden of the certification process kind of off of them. So that's kind of how this came to be. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this bill? Delegate Kerr.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Scott, this does not have a House cross file?
This does not have a House cross file, no.
Do you know what the vote was in the Senate?
It was unanimous.
Thank you.
Or at least of all members who voted, I don't know if people were absent, but it was unanimous. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you
This
very much.
concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 514. May I ask, are you here for what, Senator? Will you be so kind and come up? I'm going to call her next. I'm moving you up, actually. All right, because you've been waiting patiently, so thank you. So this is Senate Bill 451 for Senator Griffith, Procurement Improvement Council membership and duties. Welcome.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Karen White, Legislative Director for Senator Griffith. I'm here to present Senate Bill 451. Since 2017, there have been efforts to update Maryland's procurement operations. The mission of the Procurement Improvement Council is to maximize transparency, accountability, insight, and trust in state procurement activities. In the 2019 report of the President's Advisory Work Group on Equity and Inclusion, members made recommendations that were adopted in 2020. One recommendation added appointees to the council who were named by presiding officers. SB 451 adds the comptroller to the Procurement Improvement Council. I've also provided for your consideration an amendment to the bill. SB 451 received a favorable vote in Budget and Taxation Committee. If adopted, the mission of the Procurement Improvement Council will expand to include strategies to increase the participation of small, minority-owned, and women-owned businesses in procurement contracts. Thank you for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 451. I respectfully request a favorable report.
And thank you so much for being here. Are there any questions on Senate Bill 451? Delegate Olson.
Hi, I just was wondering if it's in the same posture. You mentioned there was an amendment. Did we already adopt the amendment on this side? Or
Yes.
council? Okay, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Any other questions? Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. Give my regards to the chairman. Okay, this actually concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 451. Is there someone here for Senator McCray? Senator Hayes? Will you be so kind and come up? This is Senate Bill 331, Baltimore City West North Avenue Development Authority Membership and Procurement. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the House Health and Government Operations Committee. For the record, my name is Nico Ambergoglio. I'm here on behalf of Senator Antonio Hayes. The cross-file for this bill is HB 627, and as a refresher, the West North Avenue area of Baltimore City is between two institutions of higher learning, Coppin State University and Maryland Institute College of Art. In 2021, it was understood to have a great potential for economic development, and SB 783 that year was passed, creating the West North Avenue Development Authority, WNADA, for the purpose of revitalizing the neighborhood and investing in economic development. In 2022, the WNADA appointed an executive director and has worked with more than 20 community and neighborhood organizations to develop a comprehensive plan for West North Avenue to be presented to the Assembly on October 1st of this year. They have worked with partners around Baltimore to identify 5 priority zones for economic development in this area. They've secured $300,000 in funding for projects with more grant funding pending. SB 331 seeks to add the Maryland Secretary of Commerce and the Executive Director of Maryland Economic Development and Corporation to the WNADA to ensure smooth acquisition and use of resources. This bill also exempts the WNADA from Division 2 of the Maryland Procurement Law to allow the authority to act with less bureaucratic burden in contracting for professional services and excel the development with parity to that which is occurred in East Baltimore. The amendment allows the authority to submit its comprehensive plan to Appropriations and Budget and Finance Committees by December 15th. It also includes 2 additional appointees by the chair, in this case, the president of Coppin State University or the president's designee of the authority. I urge a favorable report on Senate Bill 331.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions on Senate Bill 331? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. This concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 331. Next, we have Senate Bill 332, Maryland African American Museum Corporation Board of Directors membership.
All right. Again, I'm Nico Ambergoglio on behalf of Senator Antonio Hayes. This bill is a cross-file with HB 690, which passed favorably in the House. As a refresher, when the Maryland African American Museum Corporation was established, it was determined that a large board of directors, 37 seats, were appropriately allowed for the necessary engagement of the broad community of stakeholders involved in the building and startup of the organization. But as time has gone on, it's been difficult to fill all 37 of those seats, and the organization has had an average of about 25 seats filled annually. Currently, the board only has 22 of the 37, and these 22 members have provided the necessary governance through both full board oversight and committee participation. It also should be noted that staff of the museum have identified efficiencies in managing a smaller, more streamlined board, allowing for the development of deeper working relationships that foster better board staff interactions. We're recommending that the board be reduced from 37 to 25 seats, including the following. One would be the mayor of Baltimore, the mayor's designee. One would be a representative appointed by the Speaker of the House of Delegates. One, a speaker or a representative appointed by the President of the Senate. A representative appointed by one representative of Morgan State University approved by the Board of Regents and appointed by the governor. And one seat for the chair or chair's designee from the Commission on African American History and Culture, appointed by the governor. One representative of an African American historical or cultural institution in the state, appointed by the governor. 19 members appointed by the governor who have expertise in African American history, culture, museums, or related areas, and have expertise in fundraising or representing the diversity communities through the state. And in total, that'll be 25. And I urge your favorable report on Senate Bill 332.
Are there any questions on Senate Bill 332? Thank you very much for your testimony today. You could let him know you did very well. And give him our regards, okay?
I have one more.
Oh, 1 second. Oh, you have another bill here.
Yeah, they gave me
I
all three
spoke
of them.
too quickly. Let's see how you do on this one. Okay, Senate Bill 334, State Procurement Minority Business Enterprise Program Extension and Reports.
All right, again, for the record, I'm Nico Ambergulio on behalf of Senator Antonio Hayes. This is a cross-file of HB 809, which passed favorably in the House. As a refresher, Senate Bill 334, 1, extends the termination date for the Minority Business Enterprise Program by 1 year to July 1st, 2025. And then 2, extends the due date for related disparity studio study by also 1 year to September 30th, 2024. And 3, makes corresponding adjustments to the termination and due dates for MBE contracting requirements and related disparity analysis under current law. The bill takes effect July 1st, 2023. Additionally, SB 334 is one of the priorities of the Legislative Black Caucus. I urge a favorable report on 334.
Thank you. Are there any questions on Senate Bill 334? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
And this concludes the bill hearing on Senate Bill 334. We have one bill left, and that is actually Senate Bill 217, Senator McCray. Anyone here for Senator McCray? Okay. It was your cross file, and it's an identical? Okay, so that's it. Cross file of what is the House bill number? House Bill is 472. All right, so this is Senate Bill, for the record, Senate Bill 217 is the cross file of House Bill 472, and they're in the same posture.
Unanimous.
Identical, unamended, unanimous, and we'll take that testimony, and that will conclude the bill hearing on Senate Bill 217. Delegate Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a correction in the previous testimony. Senate Bill 451, we had the House bill. We did an additional amendment. In addition to the comptroller, we added the Attorney General.
Okay.
The Senate bill does not have the Attorney General.
Okay, wonderful. So, and thank you very much for letting us know, and council know it. Thank you very much. They're on top of it. Senator McCray, we were going to, we gave your testimony, but come on and give it again. All right? Senate Bill 217, Senator McCray, and Delegate Kaiser said it's her cross file, and they're identical. Welcome, Senator McCray. And the title is Transit Commuter Bus Service Procurement. Welcome to the Health and Government Operations Committee.
First, I'm just glad to be over here at the Health and Government Operations Committee. This is why I walked over here, made sure that first it's great to see you in the position, Madam Chair, for my first time.
Thank you.
And great to see it, Madam Vice Chair. To a number of the committees that do look a little bit different since the last time I've been over here, but I come, for the record, my name is Corey McCray. I represent the 45th Legislative District. I'm here before Senate Bill 217. I think that it's appropriate not to hold our colleagues hostage when they've already heard of the bill from that standpoint, but you all heard this version in House Bill 472. I don't see Delegate Kaiser now. She's done all of the work on this bill, but it's passed out of the Senate. It's over here in the House, and you all have passed the crossfile from that standpoint. So if you all could just support, as you all have already done, that would be greatly appreciated, Madam Chair.
Wonderful, and thank you for coming over. You know, you're always welcome here, and it's great to see you in that position.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions for the senator? Thank you so much for giving us your time, and have a blessed day. This actually will conclude the bill hearing on Senate Bill 217. And this concludes our bill hearings for today. It was fairly fast, and I want to thank you all for your time. If you could stay seated for a minute as we go off for one announcement. And why are you here for, Ms. Taylor? And what is her new position? You want to come over? Come and say hi. Come on. And let the committee know where you work, who you represent. Because they'll be calling you sometimes for their constituents' problems. So go ahead.